Hello and welcome to another edition of Pulp Picks. My name is Patrick.
I'm Fritz.
And we're here to give you this week's reading recommendations on New Comic Book Day. It's another really good week, and I was excited to see so many returning favorite titles.
Mm-hmm.
Also excited that we've kind of figured out, I think, where our new release wall and our videos are going to be shot. But we also wanted to touch base real quick and tell people kind of how the back issue setup is working.
Yeah. So if you've been there recently, you've seen that we've got like some of the racking up for the back issues. So
the recent back issues.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like right now, what we've got kind of the more like bigger popular titles up, since those are the ones that people are generally really going to be looking for. So it's a lot of your bigger like DC and Marvel books, some of the more bigger independent stuff like Transformers or Turtles. And what we've done with the other back issues in the meantime, just because we want people to actually be able to like get to them, they're not just like sitting in a box somewhere in back. They've just been put into the normal like back issue boxes. So if you're looking for the most recent issue of say like Fantastic Four, that's just going to be in their usual spot in the back issue boxes.
Right.
So you can just like go in there to try and find it. If you do have any questions about a book that you're having trouble finding for whatever reason, obviously ask us. We can take a look, see if it's something that we do have or not.
Yeah.
But
and all in the new location. Once you come in, you'll see that there are, a giant wall and one more wall, kind of an L of comic books on big, like storage racks.
Mm-hmm.
And all the way along the top now are the regular back issues that are all, neatly organized by release volume and title and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where you're going to find the recent back issues. And then underneath is kind of the treasure hunt dollar book stuff. So it's all together now, as opposed to our other location where it was all mixed up and some was on top, some was on bottom. It was just kind of we were dealing with space issues over there. And now over here, it's all together right next to the graphic novels and the action figures and the new release wall and all that good stuff. So.
Yeah, and as we'll be going, we will eventually be getting the other racking up for the back issues. So eventually there will be more that you'll see the wall across from us here. Obviously you can't because the video, but like eventually that will be up. There will be more comics just out in the open for you to peruse and everything.
Yes, and we also have. The wall books we've got a small portion of them up there, but we also have a whole bunch in our new larger case section.
Which we also, I noticed we got some new ones in.
Yes, we just recently acquired some, and we're working on another couple collections. So we'll see. Always trying to bring in more for our people, because that's our favorite thing to do. All right, well, that's our PSA for today. Now you know, knowing is half the battle. We didn't pick G.I. Joe this week, but we did go with...
Interesting segue.
Yeah.
But I don't know how well it tracks, but new issue of Feral's out this week. So I've had this one up here a couple times.
Yeah.
Again, like zombie horror with cute animals. Seems like an odd mix, but really works here. So this issue 13, this arc, they've met a couple new animals, a cat named Lucky and a dog named Mush. And they've kind of roped them into this like, hey, there's like a pet food, like a pet store over here that seems sealed off, like all the like infected animals can't get in. But there's an opening on the roof, so we can just figure out how to get on the roof. Like we've got a place that's secure, that's full of like everything a pet would ever want.
Sure.
So we've just got to like figure that out. And Elsie, our main character here, she's like, I have a plan. And the thing is, a lot of Elsie's plans tend not to like really work out.
Yeah.
Like, so there's some contention there about like, is this going to work? Are we just like doomed no matter what? Like literally the first lines in this issue is someone just yelling, "We're all going to die."
Game over, man.
Yeah. So we get the plan. We get to see like them implement it. It's a bit of a high wire act, we'll say. And it's very, very tense. Like there's a lightning storm and everything that's kind of like every so often like illuminating the situation, being like, wait, what? Something's like they're aware that like something is like happening that they aren't like they can't really like see what it is. So like there's that. There's I guess my spoiler, like we get to like see a little more of the pet store, and yeah, there's something going on there. They're like the last page I was just like, I'm actually kind of creeped, like, because like as disturbing as this book can be sometimes, I haven't normally been like too creeped out by a lot of it. There's just something about like the last page where I'm just like, this is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, This book, man, I just, every time, it's one of those books, I think we've said that with a couple on here, where when a new issue comes out, there's where it's like, oh, it's like, because you don't always like reread something between like the months they come out, that like, oh, it's not like as good as I keep feeling like it is every time. And then you read the new issue and just like, yeah, no, man, I love this book, like everything about it. Like,
sure.
I just like the expressiveness. There's a couple moments where like no words are really said between characters that just like, but you can instantly feel like everything that's being said in the moment without being said, which is especially good because there's one of the cats in here, Ghost, just doesn't seem to be able to talk at all.
Oh.
So, but he's just this funny little dude that like, everyone's just like, wait, what happened to Ghost? And it's like, oh, he's over there now, I guess. Like,
interesting.
Yeah. But it's great. I love the new additions here with, on the cover, Lucky and Mush. Do they have a Master Blaster kind of thing going on? Or? Kind of, yeah. Okay. We're like, because most of who we've met so far have been like cats, and like they're all able to communicate with each other, no problem. Like clearly, like Lucky and Mush like are able to like Mush understands like what's going on, but like doesn't really seem to be able to like talk to them. Like I don't know if that's just like a him thing or if that's just like dogs and cats
speak a different language.
Yeah, because any other animal that has shown up has been infected, so there's no talking to him anyways.
Right.
But it's So and there's definitely like there's something going on with like Lucky. It's not clear what it is yet, but like, and it's not even necessarily that's like something like sinister per se.
Sure.
But like there's like definitely like something going on there that like we don't like fully know yet.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, so we've got like all these new characters introduced, all these like dynamics that are like brewing at the surface between like, again, with like Elsie trying to take charge and not always being like best at taking charge. You got kids running around, so obviously that's always like, I mean, you're a dad, you know how that can be a handful.
Yes.
Yeah. But no, this book just continues to be a delight, which again is a weird thing to say about a book where there's like zombie animals running around trying to kill each other half the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's one that I'm always equally like happy to see and dreading like what awful thing might happen.
Sure.
Yeah. So
2 weeks in a row for Tony Fleeks. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's just one of those guys. Like it's funny. He doesn't like I don't know if I like call him like a superstar yet, but he's one of those guys where anytime a book of his is announced, there's always people being excited about it.
Yes.
Like
he's definitely gathering a following.
Yeah. But speaking of someone who's had quite a following for quite a while, let's see your pick.
Yeah, so I went with Robert Kirkman's Void Rivals number 19, unless you were referring to Skuxoid.
Also yes.
Yeah.
This is the all Skuxoid issue.
Yes. So last time we left Skuxoid, he was had a splitting headache. No, that's not quite right.
More for bellyache.
Yeah. So he was in a bad way, and we both had a side conversation, like, pretty sure this is going to be okay.
Yeah.
He's too good of a character in this book for them to have it happen this way, although Kirkman does like to just off people.
I mean, honestly, you read Transformers, like, how many like, Cupstead, spoiler, that's a couple issues back now, so I don't think it's that big of a spoiler, but, like, that's a decent sized character to kill off. So
yeah,
people aren't safe.
Yeah, definitely. So we're headed to Junkion, and we're getting the whole talking TV bit and everything, and it's fun because if you've ever seen the Transformers movie, you know exactly what that is, or the cartoon follow up after the episodes following it. So we kind of dare to be stupid in this issue, I guess.
I'm kind of sad that one doesn't get used in here.
Yeah, a little bit, but he's modified it just enough so that they're able to kind of take sayings from TV and add a little bit more to them. So that's good. There's a big reveal here, but it's kind of
there's a couple big reveals actually.
What's the other one? What am I missing?
Well, because there's two kind of like Skuxoid reveals. There's
sure, yeah. Those are kind of tied together. I would say.
There's another with another character that might have been left behind for dead.
Oh, sure. Yep. Yes.
Which I love how that plays out.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, that was all very good too.
Mm-hmm.
And then, man, there's a robot that shows up with a TV head.
Yeah, which my first thought was just like, is the implication that this is now also like tied in with Saga? Because that'd be really weird. Which it's not, as far as I can tell.
It can't be. It wasn't quite that.
No, yeah, but it's definitely like very reminiscent of like Prince Robot.
It was very much so.
Yeah.
It gave me a moment of pause. Like, yeah, wait a minute.
Because like correct me if I'm wrong. Like I think as far as I can tell, that's like an original character. That's like I don't recognize them.
No,
like,
I don't.
Unless they're like from some like one-off episode of like the 80s cartoon or something.
No, I don't think so. I think it's just a generic one-off robot.
Which I like them.
I thought it was very good.
I would be very funny if this is going to turn to their legally distinct death set.
Yeah, for sure. That would be great. Oh, I like that, actually. I know that of the Energon universe, this is the book that people have probably dropped the most. I mean, we're still selling good numbers of it, but it's Robert Kirkman. It turning out to be, it kind of felt like it moved maybe away from the larger Energon universe narrative that was happening on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
But man, if you're sleeping on this book, it's a good time to get caught up on it because it's gonna have big implications for G.I. Joe and Transformers.
Yeah, like we already know the Quintesson War is coming sometime this fall.
Correct, yes. And it's just good.
This issue in particular is so funny. Like
it is. And
everything with the Junkions is just great.
Yes, the Junkions are fantastic. That having been said, if you need to get caught up, the latest trade paperback of Void Rivals just dropped this week too. So you're all good there.
And I believe we've got copies of the other 2 volumes, correct?
Yeah, and if we don't, then they're on order because that's, those are evergreen for us. So we're trying to keep them in stock perpetually. And I know that we've got some back issues too. So yeah. Great book. All right. Well, this seems to be kind of a returning favorites week. There wasn't a whole lot of like new stuff that dropped this week. There was Giant Size X-Men and a few others. Yeah. But one of our reigning champions.
Absolute Wonder Woman issue 8. So this issue, after the previous issues were kind of like an interlude, kind of like dealing with Diana back in hell, both originally how she got out and then how she got out again. And now she's back in Gateway City. And things are there's a lot going on in this issue. There's a lot of like Diana like kind of getting up to stuff. There's a lot of some shadowy forces getting up to stuff. Not all of said shadowy forces might be on the same page as each other. We'll have to see how that bears out.
Yeah.
But yeah, first off, we were just talking about before. I like the arts they have for the 2 fill-in issues, but having Sherman back is such a delight.
So good. It's kind of one of those things where it's like you when you're reading that first 5-issue arc, right? That Sherman is really helping create this character with the vibe and the feel and the energy. And then you get a 2-issue, which was very good. But to come back to this and to feel like, oh yeah, this is the Diana we know from this series, very much so.
Like there's particularly, because we talked about this a lot with both like this series, the Batman Dark Patterns book. I think I had one of their earlier books, Into the Unbeing, on here once.
Oh,
like,
yes.
The way they do panels and layout is just like one of the best in the industry, I say right now. Like there's a bit in here where like Diana is casting like a spell, and like the way that like the way it's structured, it's hard to describe without just like showing you and being like, just look at this.
Yeah, well, and so this is kind of a very geometric kind of book, right? Both the layout is not just rectangular standard panel layout.
There's a lot of curves. There's a lot of just like free floating panels,
high shapes. It's really cool. And then Diana gets a home.
Yeah,
which
super
looks
cool.
Familiar.
Yes. Also, I'm wondering,
small though, scale wise. I think
it's hard to tell from like what we see of it because we don't get to see it a whole lot before Action calls once more and have to go deal with that. And there we get like, it's one of those things where like we see something at one point in the book and then we kind of come back to it later on and it's just like, okay, what's happened like in between here, because like something's definitely happened, And obviously it's something that we'll like figure it out as we go along, but like it's like figuring out like, okay, how much do we know or understand like what's trying to be set up here in a way where it's just like, ooh, okay.
Yeah, we get a little more time with the supporting cast of characters,
which
I continue to set up that dynamic.
I'm really enjoying like the way that they're like setting up the difference between like how certain characters are reacting to Diana, like it.
And how the amount of, or the time spent with Diana gets you used to Diana.
Yeah.
I thought that was a great little...
Well, like, yeah, there's like, I don't remember the exact line, but someone's just like, that was weird. And someone else is like, that's Diana.
Yeah.
It's a good bit.
Yeah, move it, genius. Yeah, it was really good. And we've got these two kind of big major threads that are now Diana's looking for something and somebody's looking for Diana. And so and I think, obviously that's going to be part of a bigger arc, and we'll see how those things kind of intertwine in the future, but that's where this is going for the next handful of issues.
And one of the things I really like with this issue, because we're like talking about there, like how like the characters interact with Diana and how she is with them, like just like how the relationships are developing. We also get a bit of that with like our kind of like more antagonistic forces, where like we get to see like what their relationships are like, and it's very different. Like the juxtaposition between them is very interesting, just in terms of like how Diana's like very like open and just like, hey, like I like this is just how I feel. Like there's this like sense of like clarity and openness between the characters, whereas with these other characters, there's very much like people are only told what they need to be told,
even
like
if they're allies.
Yeah, like they're like there's a lot of like secrets being kept from each other, like open hostility between people, like just demeaning each other. Like it's I like how they're like very clearly saying up the parallels of just like, but I also like how you do get a bit of like seeing some of like Diana, like she does have this like anger in her. There is this like sense of like righteous indignation against like the injustices that she sees in this world.
Yeah, I would call it like a fire. Like it's definitely
like
some heat there.
Yeah, like she's not just all like calm and peaceful and everything. Like she like that's what she wants to bring to the world, but she also like is able to look at the world and like understand that like no, you can't just like put like a flower in someone's hair and like peace will happen.
Right,
like,
exactly.
Like she understands like you have to like fight to make it a better world.
Right. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it was a great week for our picks up here, but we read a bunch of other stuff that we really enjoyed, and there were a number of other books that could be also returning favorites that would have made it up here. What else did you like this week?
Let's see. Dennis Camp had 2 books out this week, both with Absolute Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, speaking of fire.
Yeah, and the Sword of Christ events, also speaking of fire.
Oh, yeah.
Weird theme for him this week, but both of those easily given up here. Both those books continue to be great. The new Mr. Terrific Year 1 miniseries just came out this week, and I'm forgetting the name of the. Oh, got a copy right here. So there's like an artist for like the intro section and the artist for the main section, and Valentino Delandro does the main section, and I don't think I've seen them before, but their art is gorgeous in here. Like I love like the heavy use of like black for like the for like the shapes and everything. Like it's like I really want to see more of them, and the issue as a whole is like a really fun kind of look at Michael before he really becomes a hero, when he's still kind of like dealing with the loss of his wife and everything.
Sure.
And just like how that might play into stuff going on in the present day with him on the Watchtower dealing with all dark side shenanigans.
Right.
But yeah, no, that was like a strong start to that there. Anything that kind of piqued your interest?
Absolute Martian Manhunter was exceptional. I really enjoyed that. Ultimate Spider-Man was great. And yes, G.I. Joe. So we get 3 new characters introduced that are not new characters. They're but they're new in the story arc. So we start with Beachhead, which is no surprise because he's on pretty much every cover.
Yeah.
It's interesting. G.I. Joe is getting an X-Force or Black Ops kind of team put together. And that's what this book is about.
Yeah. And one thing we've talked about before with this series is like, because with like Transformers, like I'm all in on that. Like I know a lot of these characters, I've known various iterations of them. Like, again, I've never been like a G.I. Joe guy. So like anytime like they introduce one of these kind of like very classic characters that people who are fans of the franchise have known for forever are like, oh yeah, I love Beachhead, and I'm like, okay, let's like see what their things about. Like, this is me really just being introduced to them, and the fact that these books have done such a good job of like making me like understand and like care about these characters so quickly, again, just really speaks to like how well a job they've been doing on these books.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And this was another one of those issues where, you know, things go sideways for our protagonist very quickly. But there was some good humor along the way.
Yeah, no, I again really can't be discounted how funny this book is.
Yeah, it's really been good. And we get another thread there where we find out that there is a character who is actively trying to draw out someone.
I love the pettiness going on there.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. But I did also like the whole, you know, Beachhead doesn't want to be a teacher. He doesn't want to train anybody because wasn't he a teacher in G.I. Joe the movie?
I think so.
Didn't he work with Sergeant Slaughter?
Yeah, something like that. If I remember correctly.
I don't know.
Yeah,
my brain is full of cobwebs.
Yeah. Also, again, the way he's introduced in the issue is so fun.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah. But also, I feel like we should mention, speaking of G.I. Joe and Transformers, so we had like a while back the G.I. Joe Compendium, like the big collection of like the first 50 issues of the original Marvel run. This week, we've got a similar Transformers Compendium, collecting the original 1 through 46, and then the 4 issues of the Transformers Headmasters miniseries.
Yes. So again, 50 issues. Now, you'll see how thick this book is, but everybody who picks this up is commented on how surprisingly light it is, because it's on the classic newsprint style paper.
Which again, just the texturing is so nice. Like,
you know, and I think because this was the way that the art was always created with the intention of it being on this type of paper, it works better. You know, I like the recoloring and digitizing and everything is fine. But when you put it on super glossy paper in a trade paperback collection or whatever, it just doesn't represent quite the same as it did here. So it's kind of like a little time capsule or time machine.
And like, not even like as a Transformers person, not even like particularly a big G1 person, I even just like flipping through this, like, it's just gorgeous to like have in your hand.
Yeah.
Like, if you've been looking to get like a bunch of old Transformers back issues, because I know a lot of them are harder to come by for a lot of reasons, like, really can't do anything better than this. Like, this just like,
it's like hitting the dollar section almost, because it's at $65. It's like $1.30 a piece. You know? So it's a heck of a value.
And it feels so nice to just have in your hands.
So cool. And we did get a restock on all the G.I. Joe ones. The direct market cover, which is the original Herb Trimpe cover, is now no longer available.
But we do have an awesome Kubert cover now.
Yes, it's super cool. So we've got those available. We've got a number of copies in stock of both the Transformers and the G.I. Joe, but don't sleep on it. You know, hurry up and get in and get your copy, because we'll definitely be doing reorders on these, and there will probably be a point in time where we're out in between restock and getting them, because I expect these to fly off the shelf. Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for us for this week, I think. Right? We did our PSA, we did our sales pitch, and our honorable mentions, and our Pulp Picks for the week. So be sure to like, follow, subscribe, comment, share, stop into your local comic shop and pick up some books. And we'll be back next week with more Pulp Picks. Until then, enjoy the reading.
Buy the compendium. It can be so much more. It can be a paperweight. It can be a murder weapon.
It can be a doorstop.